Hey guys, it's me, Chandler. Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an August plus September reading wrap-up. Normally, I just do reading wrap-ups for 1 month. I want to start doing these every month, but the last one I did was July, so I'm going to do one for August and September. And I didn't read enough books in August to do one just for that month, so here we are. In August, I read 3 books, and in September, I read 7 books. Overall, not the best reading months for me, but that is okay. I did read some pretty good books that I'm going to be showing you guys today, and I don't have all of them physically. Some of them like I'm lending out, or there were 2 audiobooks I believe, but we're just going to get straight into it. The first book that I read in August was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This was actually her debut novel, I heard, so that's really cool that this got so much hype over the summer. So happy for her. And it has a little blurb from Emily Henry on it. If you don't know, Emily Henry wrote Book Lovers, which I love that book. I'm a book lover of that book. Haha. Anyways, she said a radiant debut. So yeah, but this book was really good. I really enjoyed it. It is pretty short. Wow, I didn't realize how short it was. Yeah, it's 304 pages. So this is a perfect, just quick read. I know it's not really summer anymore, but where I live, the weather's still kind of summery. So in August, I tried to get my last summer books in, and I might have got some in September too, I think. So this was kind of me ending off my summer, kind of going into my fall vibe, even though it's not fall weather, but whatever. This follows Persephone, or Percy, and I believe the guy's name is Sam. Yeah, it follows Percy and Sam, and this definitely gives the Summer I Turned Pretty vibes, which I will talk about later in this video, but it also gives a little bit of Love in Other Words vibes, and I rated this 5 stars. I really loved it, and I definitely think you should read it. I know it's not really the summer vibes anymore, but like you can definitely still read this book this time of year. It was really good. If I remember correctly, Percy every summer goes to Sam's like house, I think. Percy growing up went to Sam's house every summer. Something happened between them. They haven't talked for a while, and now it is her going back for his mother's funeral, which that's not a spoiler, that's literally on the back. Her going back for his mother's funeral because she was invited, and of course she's gonna go and pay her respects, but she sees Sam and something sparks with him again. That is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Definitely recommend reading this book. It was super good. And my review for Every Summer After was, stop, I loved this book. It was so good. And then I put update. Now that I've read The Summer I Turned Pretty, I totally see it. This book definitely gives those same vibes, and it is such a cute summery read. Definitely recommend. The next book I read in August was The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. And this is actually a trilogy. I read the other books in September, which we will get into, but I'm kind of going in the order that I read books. This book is really short. It's under 300 pages, super quick read, definitely something you can just fly through. This follows Belly, who goes every summer to her mother's best friend's house, and her mother's best friend has 2 boys that are around Belly's age. So it's kind of like the parents are friends and the kids are friends, and Belly's brother is that kind of age too. So they spend all of their summers together, and this follows one of the summers that Belly goes there, but now she's starting to have feelings for the brothers, and she doesn't know what to do, and it's that kind of thing. And I thought it was pretty good. I give this book 4 stars, I think. My review for The Summer I Turned Pretty on Goodreads, if you guys want to follow my Goodreads, it's always linked below. I said, OMG, I loved this. Literally just ordered the next 2 books. So excited to watch the TV show when I'm done with the series. And yeah, I did watch the TV show, or I'm watching it right now actually, I haven't finished it. I do enjoy the TV show, I definitely enjoy the books more. And something that I definitely think enhances this experience with reading these books is listening to a playlist. So if you go on Spotify and look up the Summer I Turned Pretty playlist, you can find playlists that people have made that kind of give the same vibes. And I like doing that for most of the books I read. I listen to a playlist, but yeah. Then I read Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and this is such a good book. Oh my goodness. It is kind of compared to The Night Circus sometimes, which I read in September, so I will talk about that later in this video. But this book follows 2 sisters that are invited to this Caraval game, which is a game that kind of happens every year. And then as soon as they get there, this is not a spoiler by the way, one of the sisters like disappears, kind of like is taken type of thing. And the other sister has 5 days until the game ends to find her sister. So there's also a subplot of romance in it, which I really enjoyed. And overall, the vibes of this book were so good. Like, I played a playlist again for this one. This was such a good book and I definitely recommend it. This is actually a trilogy. I have the second and third book on my Amazon wish list, but I have yet to buy them because I have so many books I already own that I want to read, so I want to read those first. But there is Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and I rated this 4.5 stars. My review for it was 4.5 stars. This was so good, OMG. And this is a spoiler-free like synopsis type of thing. I put, Caraval is such a magical tale. It follows Scarlet and her sister Tella. They run away to a place in the magical game of Caraval. However, as soon as they get to this place, Tella goes missing and Scarlet doesn't have long to find her. As the story goes on, we start to question what is real and what is Caraval playing with Scarlet's mind. That is the fun part of it. You are constantly questioning what is real and what is fake. The vibes of this book were immaculate. So excited to pick up Legendary, the second book in the series. Also, I'm so sorry if the lighting is bad in this video. It is currently 6:10 p.m. so the sun is setting and it's kind of dark, so I have my ring light, but sorry if the lighting really sucks. But anyways, on to the books I read in September. In September, this was actually the month I finished my 2022 reading goal. So fun fact, when I originally started 2022, my reading goal was 15 books, but I soon realized I was gonna pass that. So I upped my goal all the way to 50 books, 50, and in September, I completed that goal. I actually, as of when this video is being filmed, which is September 30th, have read 51 books, so super exciting. Anyways, the first book that I read in September was It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han, which is the sequel to The Summer I Turned Pretty. And in this book, Belly goes back to the summer house. I don't really remember what happens in this book, to be honest, because like each of the books is kind of one whole book to me, if that makes sense. But I do remember I gave this book 4 stars and I liked it, and yeah, that's this book. I don't really have much to say about it because I kind of explained the premise of it in the first book. And my review for this was I'm Team Jeremiah all the way. The next book I read was The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. And this book, oh, it was so good. I don't have the physical copy because I actually listened to it as an audiobook, but in this book, there's basically this company, I forget what it's called, but they can basically match people to their soulmate by their DNA. So you basically like give them a sample of your DNA. I don't know exactly how it works, but basically they take 2 people's DNA that are like in their system that have like wanted to find their soulmate. Basically they see if their like genes are compatible, and there's like different levels of compatibility, and the highest score they had before was like a 95, which is insanely rare. Most scores are like 30s, like maybe even 40s, like even less than that, but their highest score before was like 95 or something like that. But then the founder of the company and the main girl we're following, they get like a 98 or something like that, and they are forced to fake date because this is like an amazing headline for the company. I don't know the word, not the word headline, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, this is an amazing opportunity for the company, the founder getting a perfect match, like that's, you know, whatever. So then they fake date. Obviously, you know how fake dating goes, they fall in love. But I thought it was really, really cute. The ending, oh my gosh. It is single mother trope, which I love when there's kids involved, and the kid was so cute. Like, we loved her. I also really liked the best friend because she was an author and that was fun, but that is that book, and my review was 4.5 stars. This book was amazing. I loved the whole concept of the finding your soulmate by genetics thing. Also, this was one of the few books I have read that had a kid involved, and I loved Juno, OMG. So Juno was a kid and Juno was great. Juno slayed. We love Juno. The next book I read was We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han, and this is the third and final book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. And in this book, Belly is in college, actually. I don't know why I keep raising my eyebrows when I talk. I'm talking like this. My eyebrows are normally like this. I don't know why I'm like this. Anyways, Belly is in college in this book, and she's dating one of the brothers, but then there's like conflict and like, what's gonna happen? And yeah, that's this book. This book was a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I loved this book. I feel like it was just a really good ending to the series overall, and they look so cute together. I know I like read a book in between each of them, but I kind of don't like reading series like one book after another. I kind of just get tired of it, but look how cute they are together. And they're all really short. They're literally like 700 pages total, which for a trilogy, that's like really good. And my review of this was, I loved this book and series so much. As the book ended, my playlist had Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift playing, and let me tell you, it was so amazing. Definitely recommend this series. This is also a YA series, so it doesn't really have anything inappropriate in it, which is always nice. And so it's like safe to read type of thing if you are younger. So this is really good. Also, my family's being so loud. My mom is making so much noise right now, so sorry about that. And then I read This 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this was a reread for me, and let me tell you, it was even better than the first time. I wish I had it right now because I tabbed the heck out of that thing. Like, it has so many tabs in it. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is probably my favorite book at the moment. It literally has a 4.47 average on Goodreads. If that doesn't tell you there, right, something right there, I don't know what does. When I read it the first time, I gave it a 5-star, and this time I also gave it a 5 stars. It was so good, and I annotated it and tabbed it, and it was a whole experience. This book follows Monique Grant and Evelyn Hugo. The company that Monique works for gets kind of invited to do an interview with Evelyn Hugo, who is kind of similar to like Marilyn Monroe, and she was like very popular all through like the 50s and 60s. I think that's the era. Could be wrong. She was very popular through that time, and the company is like, sure, we'll send this person, and Evelyn is like, no, I want Monique Grant to do my interview. And Monique's like, this famous celebrity person wants me, why? So there's kind of that thing going on, like, why does she want Monique? And then it follows the interview between Monique and Evelyn, so kind of Evelyn going through her whole life story of what happened throughout her whole life, because she had 7 husbands, and like, who was the true love of her life? If you know, you know. Anyways, I cried during this book. It was so good. Anyways, also I love Harry and I love Celia, but this was such a good book and I recommend it so much. I literally cannot recommend it enough. So if you were on the fence about reading this book, read it. It has like so many elements to it. Like, it's a romance book, but it also has so many lessons and like, so good. All my review says is, I'm so glad I reread this. This is probably the best book I have ever read. It's so good, guys. Like, it's so freaking good. I love it. And it was kind of nice because when I was rereading it, I didn't remember everything that happened. There's like a few big plot twists at the end of the book, and I remembered 1 to 2 of them. There was like one main one that I did not remember at all. So that was fun. The next book I read was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I had to read this for my English class, and this is like a really short book. Like, before I read it, I didn't realize how short this book was, but it's really short. It's literally 180 pages. So this book follows Nick Carraway, who is living in the 1920s, and his neighbor is this guy Gatsby, who's kind of mysterious, and he throws like all these big parties. And it kind of symbolizes like the American dream and like how you shouldn't waste away your whole life trying to achieve this idealistic version of life that is ultimately unattainable. Also, I didn't think of those words right now. A lot of those words are from a paragraph I've been writing for English about this book, which I actually have to do after this because it's due by 11:59 tonight and I am not done. This book was okay. I think it did have some good messages. It is kind of hard because it does have like old-timey-ish writing. I don't know when it was written, but I'm guessing close to the 1920s because that's when it takes place. So it's not like old-timey like Jane Austen. So it is like more modern-ish, but it just kind of reads a little weirdly to me. I definitely do like books that are more modern compared to classics, but I can't appreciate them for what they are. So this was a 3.25 stars for me. And my review said, had to read for school, 3.25 stars. Then we have the book that helped me to complete my reading goal for this year, so I will never forget this book. That is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, and this was my first like thriller of the fall season, so that's exciting. This book I actually got this recommendation from Haley Pham. Shout out to her. Love her book videos. But she recommended this and literally all of Riley Sager's books in one of her videos. So I picked it up and I was not disappointed. I did really enjoy this book, gave it 4 stars. This follows Jules, who gets offered a job to apartment sit at this famous like apartment basically called the Bartholomew, and she thinks the offer is like too good to be true. She's literally getting paid to live in the place she has dreamed of living since she was a child. So she decides to take up the offer because like why not? And there's some other apartment sitters there. Weird things start happening, and then this is not a spoiler, one of the apartment sitters goes missing. She starts to uncover all of the Bartholomew's secrets and like what's really going on here, and I thought it was pretty good. There's a few plot twists. One of them I saw coming, most of them I did not. The review that I have says, "This book I will always remember as it was the book that allowed me to pass my reading challenge for 2022. Overall, a really good thriller, and I definitely recommend." Then the last book that I read was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I've been wanting to read for a while, and I gave it 2 stars, guys. Okay, don't be mad. I will explain more in a minute. This book follows 2 people who basically are set to play in this like game type of thing, and they're set to like compete, and they're both like magician people, but then they fall in love and they have to like work through that. But yeah, there's basically this circus called the Night Circus, and it basically just kind of appears and it's there at night, like no one sees it come and no one sees it go really. So yeah, there's basically a competition between Celia and what's the guy's name? Marco, and they've been like training since their childhood for this. And I did not like this book because to me, the way it read felt very much like a classic. I don't know if that was just me, but just like the way the writing was, I just didn't enjoy the writing. And I think it also had to do with the narrator. The narrator was like a Scottish old guy with like a very heavy accent, and it just felt like he was narrating the whole thing like this, and it was boring. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I might have liked it more if I read the physical version, but I didn't really like it. My review says, I just realized I only read like 1 bad book this month. That's so good. Anyways, I said, this book, it did not slay like I thought it would. That's so 2022 of me to say. Anyways, to me, this book was so boring and tedious, and I felt that the story overall went barely anywhere. If you want a book similar, but much better writing and vibe, and overall just a better story, then read Caraval. That is all the books that I read in August and September. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do be on the lookout for my October TBR, which should be coming within the next few days. And I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!